Hello guys, welcome to this channel. My name is Grace and I'm so excited to be here to share another topic, and I want to have an insight about tithes and offering that we give to church or to our God because of how He has blessed us, or to even commit to the law of giving tithes. So many people are confused. They don't know how to give their tithes. So they find themselves not giving the right way. So let's read in the Old Testament about tithes and how the Israelites were asked by God to be giving their tithes. We shall start with the book of Leviticus, chapter 27, and the whole of chapter 27 concerns about the gifts that Israelites were supposed to give unto their God. It entails people, land, anything that you had committed to give to the Lord. There were conditions or there were terms that you are supposed to meet so that you could give the gift to God. So we'll start from verse 26 because that is where the insight about tithes come in and the gifts that we give to our God. If you have time, just go and read the whole of chapter 27 of Leviticus. I'll start by this from verse 26. The Bible reads, "The firstborn of an animal already belongs to the Lord." So hapo there is no compromise. The firstborn of an animal already belongs to the Lord, so no one may dedicate it to him as a free will offering. A calf, a ram, or a kid belongs to the Lord. Even the firstborn child of a human belongs to God. You remember the story of Anna and Samuel when God blessed him with his son. He dedicated him to God because that is an order. They are supposed to belong to God, to be given to the church, or for the purpose of serving God. That's what it is mean. It means. So the firstborn of a ram, of a calf, of a kid belongs to the Lord. So nobody should give it as a free will, like a dedication to God. It continues, but the firstborn of an unclean animal may be bought back by the standard price plus an additional 20%. If it's not bought back, it may be sold to someone else at the standard price. So those are the things that we are being looked at when we are giving gifts or offerings to God. So for an unclean animal, it was supposed to be given a standard price, and then they add 20% more of the same. So verse 28 reads, "No one may sell or buy back what he has unconditionally dedicated to the Lord, whether it is human being, an animal, or land. It belongs permanently to the Lord." Not even a human being who has been unconditionally dedicated may be bought back. He must be put to death. So if you are to give your firstborn sons or daughters to the church for the service of God, and you reclaim to get them back, they were supposed to be killed because already it was a requirement. Verse 26, it has already indicated that it is not a free will gift or offering that we give to God of the firstborn animal or a calf or a kid that we give to God. Verse 30 says, "1/10 of all the produce of the land, whether grain or fruit, belongs to the Lord." 1/10 of all produce of land, whether grain or fruit, belongs to God. If a man wishes to buy any of it back, he must pay the standard price plus an additional 20%. One out of 1 out of every 10 domestic animals belongs to the Lord. So those are the things that we are given to the Israelites, that the first fruit, the first 1/10, so 1 out of 10. So what about the whole 100%? So it is 10%. That's where the tithe comes in. So 1% of the 1/10 of the produce of the land, whether grain or food, belongs to the Lord. And then it reads that one of the every 10 domestic animal belongs to God. When the animals are counted, every 10th one belongs to God. The owner may not arrange the animals so that the poor animals are chosen, and he may not make any substitution. If he does substitute one animal for another, then both animals will belong to God and may not be bought back. So anything that belongs to God, we are not taken back, or they are not supposed to be taken back. These are the commands that the Lord gave Moses on Mount Sinai for the people of Israel. So that is where 10% start coming from, because this we are given during the time the Israelites were being led from the land of slavery, that is Egypt. They were being led to Canaan. So they were being given condition when they settle at the land of the promise, what they were supposed to do. So let's turn to the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 26, and we shall start from verse 12. We have read about the first part where the gifts and the tithes belong to God and they were given to the church. But now there is other places, other things that you can do to still give the tithes, because you may not be belonging to a church, you may not belong to a certain place. Where do you take your 10% or some of the harvest of your land? Where do you take them to? So Deuteronomy chapter 26 verse 12, it reads, "Every third year give the tithe, a tenth of your crop, to the Levites, the foreigners, the orphans, and the widows." So here are some other people whom we give our tithes, or those offering that we are supposed to give to church. If you don't have a place to take or a place to receive your 10% of your earnings, of your crops, or your harvest, you are supposed to give it to the Levites, the foreigners, the widows, and the orphans, so that in every community they will have all they need to eat. When you have done this, say to the Lord, none of the sacred tithe is left in my house. I have given it to the Levites, the foreigners, the orphans, and the widows, as you have commanded me to do. I have not disobeyed or forgotten any of your commands concerning the tithe. I have not eaten any of it when I was mourning. I have not taken any of it out of my house when I was ritually unclean. I have not given any of it as an offering for the dead. I have obeyed you. So that is another time or another teaching or another requirement, that you are supposed to give your tithes or your first harvest to the orphans, to the foreigners, to the widows, and also to the Levites. So in the New Testament, what does God say about widows and the orphans? In James chapter 1 verse 27, it is a pressure, or it's an it gives God happiness. Yani tunamfanya Mungu afurahie wakati tunapofanya mambo ambayo yanamfurahisha. We make God to be lifted high. We give glory to God when we do the right things. About this verse, as I have read in the book of Deuteronomy, about giving tithes and our first harvest to the poor, or to the orphans and the widows, not to the poor. Please note that. that you give to the Levites, the foreigners, the widows, and the orphans. Another recording of the same is in James chapter 1 verse 27. Let me start from verse 26. It says, "Do any of you do any of you think you are religious? If you do not control your tongue, your religion is worthless and you deceive yourself." So God does not judge us according to religion. Is just a thing that we accompany ourselves with, where we were brought, you are given, you found your family in a certain religion. But note that religion will not uh, uh, make us not to be judged, or even should not make us think that we are worthy. So we are deceiving ourselves about our religion. So, verse 27, what God the Father considered to be pure and genuine, religion is this. Pure religion or genuine religion is this: to take care of the orphans and widows in their suffering, and to keep oneself from being corrupted by the world. Bwana Yesu asifiwe. So you can do many other things in your religion. But religion should not deceive us. Religion should not make us not to do the right things. Religion is just uh, a thing that make us be known of where we go to church, or our belief, that is. But we always believe in one God. But there are things that are done in different religions that are not godly. Please note. But God is saying that the true religion and the genuine religion is when you help the orphans and the widows at their time of suffering. You don't have to wait until they tell you. At times you just go and visit them. You know a widow, you know an orphanage of children, a children's home where you can go and give your gifts and offer, because that is the true religion, a genuine religion that God considers as true. And we should keep ourselves away from being corrupted by the world. So what do you think about that insight about tithings, gifts, offering gifts to our God? Let's see you in the next one. Please subscribe, share, and comment. Thank you, guys.